We've talked about Microsoft. We've talked about Sony. Now it's time to talk about Nintendo.
Yes, Nintendo last year was doing pretty well for itself for E3.
Yes.
They had the digital event, which was a much better presentation than the Nintendo Direct the year before. They also had the Treehouse Live event, which they had essentially a stream throughout the entirety of E3 showing off all these games. And then on top of that, they also had a Smash Bros. Invitational. They had Best Buy playable versions of Smash Brothers. They had pretty much one of the best E3s in quite a while from a fan standpoint.
And it looks like Nintendo's trying to do the same thing this year. Again, digital event, Treehouse live stream for the entire event. Instead of the Smash Invitational, they're doing the Nintendo World Championships. Yeah. And then they're doing another Best Buy event, except it's going to be Mario Maker instead of Smash Brothers. I guess they're working with whatever they have. Though, unfortunately, I think the games are going to be much weaker this time around because, of course, they had such a large lineup last E3. A lot of these games coming back are coming back.
Yeah. Now, we should note before we go to the list that this is being filmed from Wednesday into Thursday. So we already have had some things kind of clarified by what Nintendo's done.
Or leaked.
For instance, Hyrule Warriors was a leaked announcement. We're not going to talk about it because we weren't going to predict it anyways.
Yeah, and this is not an impressions video. This is a predictions video. So let's just push it off the side and let's get to the list of predictions we have.
So first things first, we are not going to see any mobile games, we're not going to see NX, and we're not going to see any QOL device.
Yes, Nintendo said that they're only going to release one mobile game this year, and it's not coming out till later, and they're probably going to have a Nintendo Direct to talk about it. This is not really the venue for it.
Yeah.
The NX, they said they announced the NX simply to make people stop worrying that they were going completely mobile. They say it's going to be announced next year. And the QOL, that thing is not really designed for video games. That's something that you find in a consumer event, not so much a video game event.
And on top of that, I don't think we're going to hear about QOL's content until the end of the year as well. So we got a ways for all of those platforms. But you know what we are going to hear about? Super Smash Brothers.
Yes, Masahiro Sakurai is supposedly going to have an event on Sunday.
Yep.
He's going to talk more about the next big update coming for Smash Brothers. The Miiverse stage, Lucas is coming out then. And we're expecting they're going to talk about new stages as well for download, as well as new characters. We don't know if they're going to come out that day, but we think they're going to be some sort of just announcing them and even maybe dates. Maybe.
We're definitely going to see something. I do expect it because it's a presentation that we're going to see something like the tourney mode and discussions like that. So there's going to be there's a reason why he's having a video. I mean, he didn't have one for Mewtwo, did he? Not really. Now, on the flip side, there's also Splatoon, but I'm not really expecting DLC to be explicitly shown at the digital event.
Yes, recently they just announced and released Kelp Dome, one of the new stages. Also, over the last 2 weeks since its release, they've announced new weapons and released them. There's even a new trailer for the Splatfest, which is coming up for Japan soon. And we wonder if they're actually going to talk about it at all at the digital event. We think they're just going to throw announcements out, probably something for the Treehouse Live, showing off the new modes that they've been hinting at, like the Rainmaker mode. But I highly doubt we're going to have a huge, Splatoon focus in the digital event.
Yeah, they're also going to be it's actually one of the 2 currently confirmed games to be at the Nintendo World Championships 2015.
So maybe we'll see something there.
Yeah.
Yoshi's Woolly World was shown off last E3, and we're wondering if it's going to be shown off this E3, because it's going to come out in Europe and in Japan the week after E3.
Yeah, I think it'll be likely shown either in a short trailer, it might not even be in the digital event, but it's going to be there in a small form because they know everyone else has got review copies. They don't really need to have too much previews because people have actually played the game at Nintendo events already. So I feel that it doesn't need to have a whole lot of focus, but they still have to mention it because it is in fact a major release this holiday.
It's just that you're going to have to wait till the fall to actually acquire one. Now this game's already out. Xenoblade Chronicles X is already out in Japan for since April, 2 months ago.
April.
And so what we're going to expect to see here is an English translated trailer. Voice acting, the English, whether it's British accents or not, we don't know.
It's got to be British. I mean, the last game was all British.
It's all Rhine time. But that's pretty much what we're going to expect. But Nintendo's really gearing for this being the big hardcore game this holiday season, especially with the delay of Zelda.
Yeah, so they're already pitching it in PR statements, as well as in the fact they had the special direct events to try to push the game and say, hey guys, this game is big. It's just as big as Zelda and Mario. Obviously, they're trying to pitch it as a significant franchise, which tells me this is definitely going to be one of the big hits this holiday season from Nintendo's lineup.
And that's the reason why we think it's going to be somewhat of a big portion of the digital event, mainly just to get people excited for this new project.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's not going to have a big push like that? Fatal Frame.
Yes, Fatal Frame will be about a year old once it comes out in America. We're kind of wondering if it's going to be just a stealth release or if they're going to have maybe a trailer at E3, whether it's going to be playable at E3.
Yeah.
You also thought maybe they'd have like other...
I was thinking maybe it would be like Bayonetta 2, where they had surprise, the game is bundled with something else. I mean, Bayonetta 2 having Bayonetta 1 in it was an absolute surprise.
Yes.
But I kind of don't know anymore. I think
we'll see those Wii games that were never made to America.
Yeah, I mean, and one of them is in fact translated. Fatal Frame 2, the remake on the Wii, was in fact translated to Europe, but never made it to America.
So maybe that's another incentive to acquire Fatal Frame for the Wii U when it comes out. Because remember, it's been a year, so
there's going to need to be some incentive.
I really hope they don't spend too much time, if at all, on the digital event because
it's already there.
Another hardcore game that Nintendo has saved
from the brink
is Devil's Third.
Yes, Devil's Third was announced last year from IGN as an exclusive new game for the Wii U. It was originally being developed by THQ, or rather published by THQ, but then they went under.
Yes.
So then that game went into a kind of a development hell for a while, and now it's back. And it's kind of like the second game Nintendo has saved from the brink. Bayonetta 2, and then now this one.
They recently had a huge trailer, more like a direct, honestly, them explaining the game and its multiplayer functions, and it's coming out in Japan in August.
And it's Amazon exclusive.
And it's an Amazon exclusive, which actually I think might hint at what we might see for Devil's Third in America, maybe. Like, maybe it's going to be retail exclusive, maybe you have to buy a GameStop.
I don't know. I think that it's more like it's exclusive in Amazon in Japan because the game had no market in Japan. In America and Europe, I think that's where they're going to hope to sell them more. It's kind of funny, it's a third-person shooter with a lot of gore, the exact opposite of Splatoon, which is a cutesy, for everyone game involving paint guns. So,
well, if Devil's Third is as fun as Splatoon, then...
Yeah, then we don't have anything to worry about.
We mentioned that Best Buy is going to be having an event for Mario Maker.
Yes.
So we assume there's going to be a big portion of the digital event about Mario Maker. Because last time it was literally just a trailer announcing, hey, here's the game we're working on. But this is like the big Mario game this year.
Yeah, it's the 30th year anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. So they're making this big to-do about it, but that's the only game that's really pushing it. Unless they have all these other announcements to make, which they could do at the digital event. I think this is going to be a game that we're going to heavily push for everybody. Because it's Mario, it's got editing prowess, you have 3 different art styles to play through. I think it's 4. Now it's 4, actually.
One thing that I'm hoping they announce is some sort of single-player campaign. Just enough so that when you first buy it, you don't have nothing to work with. Okay, double negative there, but you get what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you don't want it just to be about, okay, here's the tools, make the game. You want to actually see what they've been able to make.
And we've seen some samples of what they could do with them. Maybe those are actually levels that they've created, so you can get some crazy level design.
Alongside Mario Maker, there was, like an hour before the digital event, there was a leak on Miyamoto's upcoming game, Star Fox.
Yes, unfortunately, whenever they showed it off, it was blurry. They blocked out the images because the graphics were placeholders. Basically, it was just making game, not so much graphics.
Yes. They were going to use the whole, using the gamepad as the cockpit, but you can also use normal controls as well, which is nice to hear. So the game is going to be out this year. We don't know who's developing it with them. It's got to be out this year.
Yes. So we're expecting this to be a big portion of the digital event. There's also the 2 other games.
The project games.
The project games that they're probably going to become a Star Fox. We think they're DLC games.
Yeah.
To kind of get ready for the actual retail release of Miyamoto's game.
Yeah, so they could be like, hey, here's something in August, and here's something in September, and then October is when the game comes out.
I'm thinking November, but
well, I'm just giving you points here.
Yes, so we think that one's going to be a big one. Obviously, trailer, gameplay.
Yeah, they might have full discussion about it. Who knows? It's going to be big.
Another major franchise getting a new game is Animal Crossing.
Yes, and with Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. This game was shown off at the Nintendo's surprise Nintendo Direct a couple weeks ago, and the game didn't show any footage.
We speculate that's because Nintendo's going to focus on that on the digital event.
Yeah.
Now, this one is Amiibo focused.
Yes.
Heavily.
Now, we didn't mention this before, but we think Star Fox probably has something Amiibo-like in the horizon as well. But this one has lots of Amiibo, like 90 cards worth of Amiibo.
Yeah, the one advantage of doing cards is it saves Nintendo money, and they can release a ton of them. At least we hope so. Otherwise, people are going to just attack people for cards. We speculate that the game is going to come with like a starter pack because there's no way people are going to run out and buy 25 packs, but they might. You never know with the Amiibo craze the way it is. We also don't know how the game's going to work. Is it going to be like a town? Are you walk around in it? Again, this is all stuff that Nintendo needs to discuss because right now we didn't think it was a retail game and we thought it was just a digital game.
Yeah, but
now it's full retail. So what has Nintendo got for us in the store?
Yeah, and it's probably going to be one of those mainly focused games. In fact, I wonder if at the end they'll be like, and you probably going to use these cards for something else. And then they show like maybe a teaser of Animal Crossing U. Maybe the game.
We're not even sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It seems kind of odd to have this game come out and then also hint at Animal Crossing U, but it also makes sense too. So it's kind of crazy. Now from the Western Front, we haven't seen anything new from this team, and I think it's about time we see something new from Next Level Games.
Yes, the last game they released was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the 3DS. It's been like 2-3 years now. Well, it feels like forever in a day.
Yeah, I mean they've been pretty versatile too, so it's kind of hard to gauge where it's gonna go. You're thinking Metroid.
Yeah, well, they were going to pitch a Metroid game, so I'm assuming they would follow their pitch.
Yeah, but they've also done things like Punch-Out, and they also did Mario Strikers even before that. So they've had a pretty wide variety of genres under their belt. So the question is, what are they going to do now? I don't think they're going to do another Luigi's Mansion unless that was a really profitable game.
Either way, we speculate it's going to be a 3DS game because Nintendo needs more 3DS games to bolster the lineup.
Yep. Alongside these games, of course, are also going to be the Nindies.
Yes.
Nindies are Nintendo-based indie games. There's not going to be a digital event.
No, I don't think they've ever done that. Actually.
No, they've mentioned it in like other Nintendo Directs. Like here's some downloadable games coming out, but the digital event seems more focused towards internally developed games. What's more likely to happen is that Nindies will be mentioned either through a deluge of trailers on Monday, which is what they tend to do, and then on top of that they'll have a segment in their Treehouse Live where they show off a couple of them as well.
Yes, I remember last D3 they did a huge segment with like Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight, I think they did Affordable Space Adventures.
Yes, they did.
And like one or two other games in the mix. We have a few games that were shown at the Nintendo Direct Micro, which will certainly be present at E3 in some fashion, but not present at the digital event. First is Chibi Robo Ziplash.
And then Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon.
And then Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
Say it 10 times fast.
I almost couldn't say it that fast, and I was saying it pretty slow.
So all three of these games were announced at the digital event. That was like a micro.
The Nintendo Direct Micro, yes.
Yes, really short. It was the reason why they announced them then is because they don't have time to announce them at E3. They're afraid they're going to get either just trounced by all their other announcements they have, or they just feel that they're not worthy of their digital event, but they have to make announcements of them.
Yeah, one of the harder things about Nintendo in the Western Front is that they're really not focused too much on the 3DS. At least they don't want to put too much effort on pushing the 3DS because I mean the 3DS is doing well enough, but in Japan it's where it's at. Speaking of 3DS games in Japan, this one will certainly be there. Fire Emblem If.
Now, this one will be out, this is out this month in Japan.
Yes, yep.
It's not coming out till early next year in America, but that doesn't mean they can't show it off.
Yeah, now I don't know if they're going to have anything translated, but it would be a good time for them to have some form of the game playable. Either on the show floor or through part of the Treehouse Live event, kind of to give some overview of the game content.
But there are a few games that we feel will not be at E3 for Nintendo. One is #FE, or Sharp FE, however you pronounce it, and Pokken Fighters.
Yeah, both of those games are kind of a ways off from the American audience. For one, Pokken comes out arcades only in July, and that's Japan. Who knows when it's coming to America, and whether it's coming to consoles in any shape or form. We know what kind of it's coming out, but definitely not in 2015. On top of that, Sharp FE is coming out this year in Japan, but the chances of it making it to America, they don't even have a logo or a name for it in America yet.
Well, the same thing with Fire Emblem If.
Yeah, but this game is much further away from being released in America. Now, what else will be released in 2016 is Nintendo's translated version of Yokai Watch from Level 5.
Yes, we noticed that there wasn't any mention of that game at Nintendo's last event, and we think that's because Nintendo's going to be focusing it heavily on the digital event or sometime during E3.
Yeah, LBX was shown at the Nintendo Direct Micro.
Yes.
But that's coming out in August. Yokai Watch is coming out a bit later. It may be shown off now in full form or wait until a future event. It's hard to tell now.
We think Nintendo wants to push us make it as big as it is in Japan, which is its gigantic.
Gigantic.
So they want to give it a nice big push this E3 if they really want to get that much hype behind it.
Especially since we're not even too sure if there's much Pokemon at all at this E3.
Well,
we know there's a Super Mystery Dungeon, but we don't know if there's even a mainline Pokemon game to be unveiled.
The Pokemon Company does like to announce things like the day before.
Hey guys, surprise! New devices! Yay, new games! Now, what's your opinion on Paper Mario for Wii U?
Paper Mario could happen. We haven't seen Paper Mario in a long time. The last game was Sticker Star, and I think it's like 3 years. Has it been that?
No, it was about 3 years since the holiday season.
We have heard rumors that Intelligent Systems was at a job fair, and they did say, yeah, we're hiring for Paper Mario, but that could be just a rumor.
They didn't even say they were hiring for it. They said, yeah, we're making Paper Mario for Wii U. Now, that doesn't mean it's actually happening, but honestly, it's been a long time, enough time that I think the timelines are about ready to see something come out, especially as the Wii U starts to wind down in its development processes. Which also leads to the next question. Do we think that EAD Tokyo is getting a game out?
I kind of don't think so, but at the same time, there's a lot of smoke.
What smoke are you smelling?
Well, no, smoke is fire, you know? There's
fire!
There's fire right here!
Die.
No, what's happened is that, if you look at history, the last time Nintendo did a Nintendo World Championship, they announced Super Mario Bros. 3. Well, it just so happens there's a Nintendo World Championship this year, and that would be a good time to announce Super Mario Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
It's almost poetic in the way they would do it. But of course, why would they announce it before E3?
Yeah, why would they announce it before E3? And secondly, Super Mario 3D World is only about 2 years old at this point. And to top it off, they just had Captain Toad as well.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to believe if EAD Tokyo has anything being shown this year, it's a smaller based game.
Of all the things that have been rumored or have been announced in the last few days, one thing that popped up was a trademark for Diddy Kong.
Now, that doesn't sound so weird, but there's also been a rumbling going in the distance. Specifically of a particular rumor about a Diddy Kong Racing 2.
We don't know who's making it, though Retro Studios did post something on Twitter saying, like, can you dig it?
It is just E3.
And so maybe they're working on it. It would be kind of weird, but then again, whatever they can do.
Yeah, there's been a few rumors. One rumor in particular was that Retro and Monster Games were collaborating with each other to make a Diddy Kong Racing 2, and that it was kind of being heavily supported by other people in the Nintendo of America side, since this is a big push for them. But this is all rumor and conjecture. I don't know if it's actually true.
But we're putting it here just for crazies.
But, you know, Diddy Kong having a trademark made right before E3 kind of tells me that Diddy Kong as a character is getting brought back in some way. Now, hopefully it doesn't mean we're getting another Donkey Kong Country Returns game, because we've seen 2 of those in 4 years, as well as a 3DS
And the
port,
reaction for the last one wasn't that great.
It wasn't too great. So hopefully, if it is in fact a game with Diddy Kong in it, it's something significant, and hopefully not Retro Studios fully, because people want to see a Metroid game, and Retro seems to be the biggest one for it. So with that, we come down to the last game, Zelda.
As we know, Zelda will not be at E3, not Hyrule Warriors, put that aside. We're talking about Zelda Wii U. It's not going to be at E3. We think there might be a trailer. Maybe they'll throw us a bone, say, like, oh, here's the game. It looks cool, doesn't it? Haha, wait till next year. But even then, that's very limited. The fact that the release date is come TBA, I think it was now.
Yeah, to be announced.
And also the fact they said, we're not going to be at E3 about this. Unless it's at the digital event, we're not going to see it at all.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're probably going to see, at best, another one of the same things we saw last year with Eiji Aonuma being like, hey guys, this is what we got so far, but we can't really show you much. So enjoy this 30-second teaser at best.
And then they would follow it up with Hyrule Warriors or something.
Yeah.
Just to make it so they can say, here's your game, Zelda game this year.
Here's a bone, we've thrown it to you. Now eat that while we finish this game and port it to NX.
Hate you.
That could happen.
And that's our predictions for Nintendo. Some of those games are going to be during the digital event, some are going to be on the show floor,
And some of them are going to be in our dreams and or nightmares, depending on your perception.
yeah, whoever you ask. So the theme we have is pretty straightforward. Enjoy our games. Buy our amiibo.
Yeah, so Nintendo's been really heavily to push Amiibo. Last year is when they unveiled it. This year will be the first year anniversary of that unveiling. And we're already up to our necks in Amiibo announcements.
Yes, I mean, just in the last Nintendo event they had the Chibi Robo amiibo. I mean, then there's the Animal Crossing amiibo card game, and then
the Splatoon amiibo.
Splatoon.
Who knows if Star Fox is going to have it? They've hinted at it. There's still the Smash Bros. Amiibo, which have to go through the end of the year and then some because of the DLC characters.
So there's a lot of amiibo focus, but the big thing Nintendo is going at is you can buy our games and enjoy them. They're great. You'll love them. And if you have Amiibo, you'll love them even more.
And now it is time for us to give our stupid guesses as to what will be the big announcements at this year's E3 from Nintendo. We'll be dropping those imaginary dollars like it's nothing.
It is nothing.
It is nothing. It's imaginary dollars.
So what is your prediction?
Mine is Mother 3 localized.
What's your reason behind this one?
Okay, so I'm not going to be ignited by a Reggie with a fire flower, but I suspect that the announcement of Lucas coming out right before E3 kind of gives a little bit of credence to possibly being some sort of Mother 3 or Mother-focused announcement. This is, in fact, the 20th year anniversary of Earthbound, after all. I would like to hear something about Mother 3 or something Mother-related. Mind you, this is a big guess. It's likely not going to happen.
You're setting yourself up for failure. But so am I! Because my big prediction is Metroid.
At least yours is grounded in some form of
A
reality.
little bit. Now, there are two companies that both have had Metroid-related something in their recent works. With Next Level Games was trying to pitch a Metroid game to Nintendo before they got Luigi's Mansion, and then Retro Studios had finished Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze like 2 Novembers ago or something.
Yeah.
And so now they're open to making a new Metroid game. So there's that too. So it's like, there's two possible contenders for a Metroid game.
Yeah, and on top of that, Miyamoto has said on the record that, I think it was a year ago, that he said that they are working on a new Metroid in some way, shape, or form.
He says a lot of things.
He says they're making Pikmin 3 5 years before it comes out. So maybe we shouldn't take his whole word for it in that regard. So yeah, those are our big guesses, and that concludes our Nintendo and all the first-party predictions. Unless you haven't seen those two yet, in which case, shame on you.
And check them out.
And check them out. But we're not done yet. We have one more short video to cover all the third-party games that we suspect or know are going to be at this year's E3.
Thanks for the unveilment, guys. You're just ruining this prediction.
Stop unveiling stuff, or else this will be like the 5th time we recorded this sequence. Oh, Tony, they just announced they're going to make another Splatoon game on the 3DS Plus, which they just announced as well.
He's joking.
I'm not joking. I don't
click the link.
This is how I get my news feeds. Just put it right in my veins.